Miss Tyree. Hey, let me say something real quick, guys. Miss Tyree about to light this whole chat up. Listen, y'all tap the screen. I'm not begging y'all to tap the screen because I'm not here for a long time. But Miss Tyree about to light this whole chat up. So y'all prepare yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. It's about to get wild. Miss Tyree, go ahead and unmute. Thank you for waiting patiently, Miss Tyree. What's your thoughts, Miss Tyree? Okay, I want you to give your thoughts, Derek. Okay, yeah,
Okay, you said what was the question now?
Yeah, I want you to give your thoughts on Derek Jackson. I want you to give your thoughts on why, our women buy into pandering so much. And I want you to give your thoughts on, what you heard Apex and Dev had to say too. I want you to speak on all of that.
Okay, well, whew, when it come down to Derek Jackson getting his divorce, I feel like he did his wife a favor because he should have been sent back to the damn streets. He should have been sent back to the streets 3, 4 fucking years ago. You know what I mean? And then as far as the pandering, I think that again, Noble, what I've been saying to you on multiple different lives is that these problems were created by a certain generation of men. And now that you all who are 30 and below are really feeling the effects of the failures of what men who were again late baby boomers, Generation X, and earlier millennials failed to do. Because again, a lot of these talks, like old girl was saying earlier, was had by people who were in your family. Like this is like elder conversations. They literally talked about stuff like this. And when it comes down to this whole thing about women back in the day not having high body counts, that's a goddamn lie. I'm here to tell you that's a lie. A lot of y'all need to go and sit up under some elders who are like 75 and up with you some hot ass tea and get the damn scoop from them. Your great grandma, your great great grandma, your grandma was busting that shit open too. She had multiple bodies too. She had multiple damn baby daddies by multiple men too. I don't know where y'all get this shit from. And guess what? They were still married. All this shit about, oh, I ain't taking care of another man's kids, that's some new generation shit. We have historically throughout history, we was raising other men and other women's kids in damn slavery. And it has continued all into this day. So all this shit about women having multiple kids by multiple baby daddies, let me tell you something. I know people right now who got 13 kids and who was married, and probably 8 of them was from their actual damn husband. We talking about times where men was back in the day. Y'all don't even know about the men who was like in prison when they wife had kids. They was on a chain gang. It was all kind of shit going on back in the day. But if you don't sit down and talk to people, how the hell, like I said, a lot of people are delusional. All this shit about traditional women, all this shit. Let me tell you something. Even my damn grandma, she spilled the tea. She getting older. You know, my grandma almost 80. So she don't give a fuck no more. She tell every goddamn thing. She sure do. She said, baby, let me tell you something. The women was out here cheating right along with these men. She sure did. Like I said, I don't know what the fuck. Where do
But,
y'all get this shit
but
from?
Miss
Like
Tyree,
the women back in the day was
but Miss
like the
Tyree,
women back in the day was just so pure.
but
Listen, what you got?
no, I agree with you. I agree with you about people's moms, people's grandmoms. I agree with you on all that. But my
Aunties,
yeah,
daddies.
yeah, I agree with you on all that, but this is my thing, Miss Tyree. Why do women try to make it seem, because what they're trying to do nowadays, they're trying to make it seem like certain men are more masculine, that they're more of a leader in this, that, and the third, if they do these things that a lot of men are saying that they don't want to do. So like I had a woman on my stream recently, like a couple weeks back. She was saying that
No,
she
but
got 4 kids.
I'm gonna stop you right there. That masculinity shit came from y'all. Y'all was the one that started bringing this masculine and shit up. It was y'all. Women ain't never said up there. You never heard the term shit. Most of these people couldn't even fucking spell femininity and masculinity until like 2 or 3 years ago. So this whole thing about masculine men and alpha men and red pill men and all this different shit, that came. Y'all started that shit. Y'all started that shit. We didn't.
but Miss Tyree, it's okay. It's okay for a woman to say, like, when women say, "Hey, I don't want to deal with no man that got. I don't want to deal with Ladarius that got 4 kids by 4 different women," or when they call Ladarius broke and dusty and all this, that, and the third. The woman, black women aren't telling a woman that are saying that, like, yo, stop saying that. Like, stop talking about single fathers and this, that, and the third. But when a man say, yo, I don't want to deal with a woman that got, all these different kids by all these different men. I don't want to deal with a woman that's, has certain qualities. He's like he's just like he's looked at as despicable. Like they degrade that man. They say he doesn't like women. Like nowadays, like when men have standards, it's like a bad thing for men to have standards now. It's a bad thing for men to like voice the type of women that they want. Why is that? Why isn't it the same the other way around?
Okay. Well, let's get one thing straight. It don't even be about the fact that men can't have standards. It's about the men in our community who are talking about they have standards. Like I said, like I said, most of these men, they done set up there. They done fucked off their whole life. They done fucked off their whole 20s and 30s. Like they old as fuck. And now all of a sudden, after they done ran through everybody and their mama, now they all of a sudden they develop standards. Like, help me understand that. I don't think it's about the men having standards. I think it's the type of men who are talking about they have standards.
Okay.
Because plenty of the men in my family, they have standards. They both meant to have standards. But I tell you what, they're the type of men who can get those standards and qualify for those women that they actually are asking for. Like, how the hell you gonna sit up there and not even be a certain caliber of man, but then you talking about something, you don't want a woman that's this and you don't want a woman like that, like that. Like I don't even think it's even the fact that men can't have standards. I think it's the audacity of a lot of these motherfuckers, right? You damn right I'm breathing hard shit. I'm down here in Florida. It's 90 fucking degrees. And it's damn humid. And I'm walking a damn dog. But I tell you what, what's your name? I bet your ass can't goddamn outrun me. You can't do more fucking push-ups than me. You can't lift more than me in the motherfucking gym. Let's talk about that. Y'all, that's what I'm saying, Noble. Like, how the fuck you sitting there talking about you want a women that's fit, feminine, cooperative, and your ass is out of shape? You can't even goddamn do no damn sit-ups, no crunches. You can't even go in there and doggone bench press the same as me. But you talking about something. She breathing hard and she ain't walked a mile.
But
Like,
Miss
bitch, fuck
Tyree,
you.
so if you want to say, because listen, like again, are there some men that are like they don't qualify for the type of woman that they're attracted to or the type of woman that they want, and they get up here and they feel some type of way about it, so they go at women? Yes. But if you want to talk about some of these men be having the audacity, do some of these women not be having the audacity? So like Miss Tyree, if I said that, Shaniqua and Latea and Ayana that got 4 kids by 4 different men, but they get on here and they say they want a 6-figure man. They want a man that's living a certain lifestyle. They want a man that can provide a certain type of lifestyle. Would I be wrong in saying that they got some audacity, like they got some damn nerve, like they're delusional, they're unrealistic? Would I be
No,
wrong in saying that?
no, I wouldn't say you was wrong. But here's the thing I need you to understand for this whole pandering and all this different stuff. A lot of these men who are on these podcasts, of these older men, I'm talking about the ones who are 40 and up. A lot of these men who are in your comments that are 40 and up, who got all this negative shit to say about black women, was the same motherfuckers who couldn't get no play in high school. They the same lames who you wouldn't even yourself hang around when you was in middle school. You wouldn't even play around with when you was on the playground because they were some fucking lames. Now they done found their tribe on TikTok, so now all their lame ass is on social media spewing this negativity. That's all I'm trying to say is you got to understand and know that a lot of these men on here on these podcasts, they some fucking lames. They motherfuckers who ain't even last time they had some pussy, they bought some. You know what I mean? When they could afford it. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it.
No,
Because let
okay,
me tell you something, Noble. Let me tell you something, Noble. I know plenty of men, and you know I'm prior active duty. I've been stationed with thousands of men. You know the men who ain't got no problem getting no women. They ain't on these goddamn podcasts. They ain't on these damn comments complaining about women. They basically can submit. They basically can goddamn summit, and they can get any caliber of woman that they want. They can get a woman that's a multi-trillionaire. They can get the bottom of the bottom women. Why? Because they are that dude. They command that.
yeah, okay, but Miss Tariq, listen, I'm not listen. I don't invalidate the things that y'all say because I listen. I don't like. I had a whole stream going at the passport bros. Like you was there. Like listen, I understand Miss Tariq. Yes, there are. Like I said, there are men that they wasn't having any motion in high school, college, and now they got their money up or they got something going on now, and they feel that they deserve certain things or they have resentment towards women because of how women treated them in the past. I can agree, Miss Tyree, that those men exist. However, it's like it's not even those men aren't like the main problem, Miss Tyree. The problem is that men are getting on platforms and voicing their opinions and voicing what they like and dislike in women. And women don't like that. But they have no problem with women doing the same thing. They have no problem with a woman saying that she don't want a broke man. They have no problem with women saying, I don't believe in struggle love. I'm not building with nobody. I'm not riding or dying. I see what my mom and my aunties and my grandmothers, y'all have no problem when those women say those things. But when men come on, whether he's a rich man, whether he's a poor man, whether he's broke, whether he's dusty, whether he's a middle class man, y'all have a problem with him voicing what he likes and dislikes in a woman. And it's like, and like I said, Miss Tyree, I hold y'all in such high regard. I find it, I can't understand for the life of me why the reaction has been what it's been. Like, I think y'all know that men, I think y'all know men have like two qualities of women or two categories of women. They have women that they would sleep with and have fun with, and they have women that they would actually take serious, that they would actually pursue for a relationship, for marriage. I don't think men needed to come on the internet and tell y'all this for y'all to know this. So, like, to see the reaction when men say that I don't want a woman that been with a whole bunch of men. Oh, you insecure. You're a human being. I should be able to do exactly what you do. Like y'all always talk about the double standards that don't work in y'all favor, but y'all never talk about the double standards that do work in y'all favor. So it's no accountability on y'all end at the end of the day. But y'all can say whatever y'all want about men. Y'all can drag men. Y'all can do whatever y'all want. But when men say what they want and what they like and dislike, it's a problem. Why?
Okay, let me go back to something, right? Because I'm reading some of these comments and I know I shouldn't. Somebody says, Shy Talker is a 3 a.m. chick for me. Hoover Deuce, you don't even qualify for me. You don't even qualify to even put your key fob and come in the neighborhood that I live in to even go 3 a.m. with me. Let's talk about that. All
Eva.
right. Let's talk about that. But when it come all down to it, like I said, number one, I don't think it's the fact that people have a problem with men saying that they have standards, but my whole thing has been, where have y'all standards been for the last 40 years? Where have, for the men in our community who are of a certain age, where have y'all standards been for the last 40 years? Because y'all haven't been talking about standards. Y'all haven't been, for y'all to be leaders, what type of examples and how have y'all been leading the standards in our community? Because a lot of this shit really that we talking about is only a problem that we have in Black America. Because I'm gonna tell you something, in other countries, in other Black countries where we are overseas, in other countries, their families, their men, their women, they don't put up with this shit. They don't sit up there. This you gonna sit up there, you gonna have sex with 4 or 5 different women and get them pregnant, not marry them. They don't put up with this shit. So this is a whole thing that is unique to Black America. But when it come all down to it, like I've been saying, where has the standards been? Where has this whole talk about standards and you want a woman that's fit, feminine, cooperative, and all this different stuff? Where has that shit been for the last 40 years? Because I ain't seen it. As a matter of fact, I'll go back 30 years. Where's that shit been in for the last 30 years? Because I ain't seen it. I haven't seen it for the last 30 years. Men wasn't looking for doggone women to be wives. They was looking for women to be hoes. And you got a lot of men out here who have women, excuse me, children by multiple women, and they ain't married now one of them. So you can't sit up. So that's the woman's fault that she got with somebody, and she thought that they were gonna be together, and she had a baby by him. Okay, do we have oops babies? Absolutely. Like shit, people get caught up at least one time. But what I'm saying is, men have gotten real loud about their standards and what they want in what they want from women. But my thing is, shit, for all these black women that have multiple children by multiple baby daddies, where was they daddy? Talking to them about, waiting for marriage and not letting some dude run through you and all this different stuff. What did her father teach her? Oh, I forgot, that's the black woman's fault because we raising them. You understand what I mean? It's a lot of shit that we basically, like I've been saying, Noble. It's only really a certain demographic of men, and they really are um um influencing the younger generations. Now let's go back to this whole thing with struggle love. You know how many of us them doggone been taught to be ride or dies? You know how many of us them rolled? You know how many of us them stuck there? You know how many of us them held the motherfucker down? And then when we look up, once he get on his feet, he go out here and get with somebody else who we think better than us. That's why I'm saying a lot of people need to go sit up and talk to their mamas, talk to their grandmas and their great grandmas and their great aunties and their great cousins who are women and men while they still alive. Because when I'm gonna tell you something, Noble, a lot of these men that people glorify, what they really wasn't about shit. And I'm not saying that to be derogatory, but we used to idolize the men in our family like they was up here until we found out how they really was after they died.
But Miss Tyree, when you talk about again the whole riding or dying, because that's what all y'all say, how we done seen our mom and this, that, and the third. But Miss Tyree, so my thing as a young man is, as like young men that like myself that were accomplished, we're successful, we're working to improve and strive for bigger and better in life. if if you're not gonna be there with me, rebounding for me when I'm shooting in the gym, if you're not gonna be shooting in the gym with me, if you don't want to be there with me from round one to round three, you don't want to be there for me during the quarterfinals, the semifinals, the conference finals. But when I'm in the championship now, Miss Tyree, and I win the championship and I'm holding the MVP trophy, you expect your I think it's delusional and kind of stupid and dumb for anybody to think that they're gonna just let somebody that didn't ride with them, wasn't with them through the mud, wasn't with them through the dirt, through the training days. Now I'm about to let you come stand right beside me and kick your feet up in the castle when you wasn't there. When you wasn't there,
But
for,
why
you
not?
wasn't there for me. You
But
wasn't
why
there
not?
during the hard times. But
But
you want.
why not?
But you want.
Y'all
But you
let
want to.
Becky do
But
it.
no, it's Mike
Hold
Jones.
on.
It's Mike
But
Jones.
why not, Noble? Y'all
It's
will sit
Mike
up there
Jones.
and go through all that struggle with a
It's
black woman, and then once you get on, you'll go up there and you'll let doggone Becky prop her feet up in your shit and
look,
parlay,
look,
and she ain't been there for none of the damn struggle. So
look.
what's the difference?
It's Mike Jones syndrome. Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me. You wasn't trying to ride. You thought this man was broke and dusty. You thought he wasn't gonna be anything in life. And then when he became everything and more, now you think you about to just slide in? Like, come on now. And that not even that you think you about to just slide in. You think you about to slide in with your little peanut head son Keenan and his sister and Ladarius and Devontae and Davion's kids. No, it's not about to work like that. I think it's kind of delusional, unrealistic for a woman to think it's gonna work like that. We need to start accepting what comes with dating. Yeah, unfortunately, some women they do the ride or die thing, and when this man becomes something in life, he does leave, and that's unfortunate. So too bad. You got the wrong set of cards, unfortunately. But like, why even date then, Miss Tyree? Why get into relationships if you going into it with bad faith to start off with? Why just not be single? Why not just be single and just get fucked on by all these different men then? If that's how you want to, if that's, and I'm not talking about you specifically, obviously, but as a woman, if you want to get fucked on and you don't want to, and you want to just, hopefully hit the jackpot one day, why not just be single? Why try to get into a relationship if you're going into it with bad faith to start off with?
Well, I don't know anything about the whole thing about going into a relationship with bad faith because I don't personally think, and I don't know any woman who go into a relationship in bad faith with somebody. Now, you do have some women out there who are gold diggers and who only want a man for what he can provide, but in my opinion, that is a very small percentage of women. Number one, and number two, again, with me being my age, do you know how many men that women who are my age and older have been with in relationships where they have built the regular everyday man up? They have built the everyday man up. Hell, I ain't even gonna call the relationship out because I don't want this to get out. But I remember dating a guy and he was on the phone snot nosed boo-hoo crying to me like, give me a chance and stuff like that. And I did. So I taught him certain things, like change his wardrobe with his money. You know what I mean? Put a nice little bow tie on him and, little, tie, khakis. Like he was real, did the thing. As soon as he started going out with a new, um, as soon as he started going out, do you know that these old hoes that didn't want him when he was when he didn't have shit
Yeah,
started flocking his way and
yeah,
trying to doggone come trying to come.
that's
But
how it goes.
the thing that had me mad is the fact that he had the audacity to even be entertaining these hoes. You know what I mean? So we're not gonna sit up there and act like women out here ain't helping the average Joe Blow grow and develop, and he ain't leaving her ass once he get on too. It goes both ways. It goes both ways.
No, look. This the thing.
Where am I trying to where am I trying to deflect, sweetie? Goddess honey, where am I trying to deflect? Like I said, I know plenty of women, especially the ones that I was on active duty with, that will go back home and all of a sudden, since they like got good jobs and all this different stuff, they old high school sweetheart or dudes who went and get them a time of day back in high school, now all of a sudden want to sweep them off their feet and marry them. And once they got in her house and got married, and she basically helped him start his own business and do shit like that. Once he got to a certain thing and all these women who wanted him, he decided he wanted to go over there and start messing around with them.
Yeah,
It happens.
but Miss Tyree, that's how it goes though. Because you know why? Because as a woman, y'all have what y'all have between y'all legs. Y'all are never going to be short of people, whether they want to deal with you for the right reasons or the wrong reasons. Y'all never gonna be short of companionship and just people wanting to have relations with you. As a man, we don't have it like that. As a man, for him to get like serious consideration from a lot of women, he does need to build himself up. He does need to be something. He does need to be somebody. So again, like I said, it's unfortunate for those women that had to go through that, but that's the game. Charge it to the game. Don't try to make it seem like that's all men. Charge it to the game. And
When
what
did
the problem
I
is,
never said all men.
I know I'm not. I didn't say you said that. I'm just saying in general. But what the problem is, Miss Tyree, is a lot of elderly women. They are, because of what they went through. They have resentment towards men now. So they're telling the woman that's my age, do not build with that man. Make sure that man is already. Make sure he already making $300,000 a year before you take him serious. Don't be with him when he making 70, 80, 90 grand. Make sure he making 300,000. Make sure he got a whole house. Make sure he got two cars. Then to give him a chance. And like at that point, these men these days, they're not the men of old. They're not the men. They're not the men of the past. They're not. You're not about to like have your way with us men like that. So they're giving them bad advice. They need to tell them what comes with dating and tell them to accept what comes with dating. And if they get an unfortunate, draw of the deck, so be it. But like to tell them to just like not to like have a man already be all the way made before you want to take him serious, that's not good advice.
Why isn't it good advice? Because that's the way it used to. Okay, number one, let me stick in current. When you say y'all not the old men and we not gonna take advantage of, what old men are you talking about?
I am talking about the men of the past that hurt these women, because these elderly women, Miss Tyree, that are giving the woman my age this advice, these are hurt women. They're letting the man that they did ride and die with, they're letting the man that they did help him come up, and he left them and cheated on them and did this, that, and the third. They're letting that one negative experience. So now they're telling their daughter, they're telling their nieces, they telling their goddaughter, they telling all these girls, don't be like me. But it's like that you just had an unfortunate situation because there's a lot of women, Miss Tyree, there's a lot of women that they did build with a man and he didn't leave them. They live in a lavish lifestyle now. They had it good, but it's all the ones that had the negative experiences that's trying to project and put that onto the younger woman. And that's a wrong thing to do.
Okay, again, and this is why I feel like it's important for younger generations to start going back and talking to their elders about what they did because we only saw a certain side. Do you understand that your grandma and your great grandma and them and some of your cousins and great aunts and them, they got married not because they were in love, they got married because they didn't have a choice. A lot of the women historically did not have a choice. We have people who literally got married at 16, 17, and 18 in our community because their mama was running out of room in the house. So they got with somebody, they got married, and they left that house, and then the men started providing for them. And yes, you're correct. There are a number of women who built with men and who lived lavish lifestyles, but that doesn't mean that they lavish lifestyle was perfect. Like my grandmother, she with my grandfather, he provided her a very good life, put her in a house, kids, all that different stuff. But that doesn't mean that it didn't come with a cost. So
Everything.
and then, but then also when you say women sharing their experiences again, do you know how many women were getting like how many women? I don't want to make it sound a whole lot, but there were women who were being advised to stay in marriages with men even though they were abusive, even though they were doing, they were treating them bad, not because they wanted that life, was because they literally were told, basically given advice from elderly women who were telling them to stay, who were telling them it's not that serious. So this whole thing, I think of advising generationally is where this is coming from because a lot of our grandparents, a lot of our mothers, a lot of our great grandmothers, they didn't have a choice. They had to stay. I remember my mom was in an abusive relationship. My stepfather abused the hell out of my mom, and she stayed for us. She stayed because she had kids because she felt like wasn't nobody gonna want her with 5 children, right? But she had to come. I'm gonna tell you what she drew the line in the sand. When my grandfather said, "It's either you gonna leave or I'm gonna kill him." That's the only thing he said. It's either you gonna leave or I'm going to kill him. Guess what? My mom got her shit and left. Not because she didn't want him to die, but she didn't want to lose. She didn't want to lose her father for having to kill somebody who was putting their hands on her. But what I'm saying is, a lot of times, women back in the day who stayed and built with men, they didn't have choices based off of bad advice. So now you don't want women telling you, "Well, baby, now that you're in a better situation, you can choose better. You should choose differently."
Okay, but I hear everything you just said, Miss Tyree, but all that tells me is that, you know, women been getting bad advice from the women of the past, their elderly women from time, from ages ago. And a lot of it, like I'm saying, Miss Tyree, a lot of it is coming from bad faith. It's not the women that, they did build with this man and he didn't do them wrong. Those aren't the women that are telling these young girls how they should be moving and like putting and projecting their negative past trauma and experiences onto these young women. It's the women that have had these negative experiences. And what I can say, Miss Tyree, is that, like you said, my grandmother, your grandmother, they was getting bad advice. So women been giving women bad advice pertaining to dating and relationships. That's all. That's basically what. That's all I got from what you just told me, and that's just the truth. But men aren't getting bad advice from elderly men pertaining to dating and relationships, Miss Tyree. Men aren't, the even the men that have been hurt in the past by women, they're not projecting that. They're not projecting that type of stuff onto 25-year-old Noble and 26 and 27-year-olds. So we're not out here dating with bad faith. Like some of us, yeah, everyone's gonna get hurt. Everyone's gonna get their feelings hurt. But for you to just be projecting what you went through in the past onto the next generation, that's not a good thing to do. That is very bad. That is very detrimental, and it's not gonna make anything better. It's not even gonna help that specific person that you're giving that advice to. So
I didn't say that it was good. And when you say that the men in the men aren't giving y'all bad advice and all this different stuff, again, if what all these men are saying is true about these women having multiple baby daddies and not being married and being least desirable, and 80% of the single parent homes in our community being led by black women, I'm just spitting back what y'all put out there about black women. It's safe to say that the reason why y'all are not getting this dating advice and all this different stuff because y'all daddies wasn't there to give y'all no advice. He was absent.
that's fair. That's fair. But Miss Tyree, thank you so much. Hey, mute up. I'm gonna keep you up here. I want to move. I want to let these other people speak. Mugga, Big Mugga is has returned